Good morning. So yesterday I started making Christmas cookies. So anybody else started making the Christmas cookies yet? I started with oatmeal raisin because that's my husband's favorite. So we made a batch of Christmas cookies for the first time this season. So if you're making Christmas cookies, I'd love to know what kind you make and which ones are the must-haves. For us, we'll make chocolate chip and snickerdoodles, and then we'll get creative from there. So today we're going to talk about three things to do when collectors are calling. So the holidays are coming, and nothing can be more of a downer than if you've got someone calling you, telling you you owe them money. This is an emotional game, and this is also a game that you have to play if you're in debt. So there's three things I want you guys to know if you or a loved one are dealing with collectors calling. I've had clients in this position, I've had family in this position, and it's not a fun place to be. But it's nothing to be ashamed of either. What's ashamed of is just not dealing with it. So I'm going to give you three ways to deal with them. All right. So if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you hit a subscribe button and the bell to get notified when I go live. If you're not watching this on YouTube, when we're done, pop on over to YouTube and do the same. Um, so number one, when you're dealing with collectors, the first thing I want you to know is the law. There's a little thing called the Fair Debt Collectors Practices. I had to look it down because I always get them, but you want to know what your rights are. You want to know the facts. Things like they're not allowed to call at absurd times. If you tell them not to call you at work, they can't call you at work. They can't be calling your family members. And my little bonus tip in that is to record your calls, because if they cross the line, that could be your ticket out of your debt, right? So make sure that you know the law and that you call them on it. If they start saying foul things, inappropriate things, call them on it. Let them know that you're recording them, because it's a game. Unfortunately, some collectors play it dirty. And what they're trying to do, the heart of the game, is to make an emotional response out of you. Because if they can get an emotional response out of you, you're going to pay them first to make them go away. And that's the name of the game. So know the law. All right. Number two is create a plan. Have a plan that includes paying them, even if you can't pay them the full amount. If you have a written plan and you submit it to them or you tell that you have them, they have to hear you out. They have to attempt to make good on the credit or the debt rather. So have a plan. And there is ways to create plans when there's not enough money, because I know that's the place that a lot of people are in. They're like, how do I make a plan to pay off the debts when I don't have enough money? There's a way to do it. It's called pro rata, and I can walk you through it. All right. So know the law. And a side note of that is record them when they're calling if you have the means to do that. To create a plan that includes a debt payoff plan, even if it's not the full amount or the full minimum payment. Just put them in or have a what I call below the line budget. And we'll get into that more on a later date. And number three is call them. Okay. The bottom line is you have to communicate. When you owe someone money, you're indebted to someone, you borrowed money that you cannot pay back at this current time, you need to communicate with them. But what people also don't think is you don't have to wait for them to call you. You can call them. I have heard a story of when I had a client who put it on their, every Wednesday at lunchtime, they went out to their car. This person would contact all of the people that were contacting them. And the funny thing is, once he started contacting them, they stopped calling him. Okay. Even to the point that they had someone say, don't keep calling us. Okay. Because he had a plan, he was calling them, the communication was open, and he knew the law. So those are my three tips that if you are dealing with collectors, or a family or loved member dealing with collectors, make sure that you know those. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow.